Hey, what's up guys, Rev here. So today we have multiple rounds of VTuber related drama to go through, so let's not waste any time, let's just jump right into it. So our first story involves this promotional post from the official Metal Gear Japan account. Back over a few days ago, they made this teasing at a new collab with what appeared to be a VTuber. Now, nobody was quite sure about the identity of this VTuber, but a lot of people had a few guesses. And one of those guesses was Pamu from Niji Sanji. In fact, dozens upon dozens of people saw this silhouette and thought that this was her VTuber model. Now, this is nothing against Pamu, okay? But the reason that a lot of drama started here is because people assumed it was her, and when it turned out to not be Pamu, a lot of them were disappointed. And it's okay to be disappointed, but it's another thing to attack the person that did end up getting this collab, and that person was, of course, Mori Calliope. She was the one who is going to be a part of this Metal Gear collab. A pretty cool situation, if you ask me, but nonetheless, a lot of people were disappointed, which again, that's okay. You think your Oshi's going to be in this collab and it turns out they're not. It's okay to be disappointed, but we know Mori is something different, okay? Mori has a very interesting and motivated set of aunties who are very, very angry about every tiny measure of success she has. And seeing this collab, well, not only are they disappointed that their Oshi didn't get it, but now they're also angry because Mori was the one to get it. So I saw this series of interactions and I think it ends up with a very funny conclusion. So it begins by this user saying, "It should have been Pamu. My least favorite VTuber just robbed my Oshi at gunpoint. I will never forgive Konami." So basically they're saying that Mori robbed Pamu of this collaboration, clearly giving the implication that Mori didn't deserve this honor of working with Metal Gear. And they go on to say, this sucks so bad. The fakest mainstream VTuber gets the collab with one of the most sincere video game series in history when Pamu is right there. And here someone asks, are you just a fan of Pamu, or using the excuse of her to express your hatred of Callie? And she says, no, Pamu is my Oshi, which, as I always say in situations like this, do you think your Oshi would want you harassing another VTuber and knocking them down a peg after gaining a big collaboration opportunity? Do you think they would want you doing that in their name? Of course not, but they would go on to explain, like they would try to say, oh no, this wasn't taking a shot at Mori, except they said that Mori robbed Pamu of the collaboration. But nonetheless, you get the point. They're setting up this whole narrative that Mori doesn't deserve what she's getting and that it should have gone to Pamu, and they're upset about it. And VTuber Cringe, aka Curry Renji, actually categorized all these interactions and said, I hope Pamu finds your tweets and tells you off. Well, we got pretty much exactly that, but done in a much more wholesome way. And that is, of course, Pamu reacting to Mori's announcement, just simply saying yes with a bunch of exclamation points. And clearly she's very happy about this opportunity. She's happy for Mori. And the people who were fighting for her in her name look pretty stupid right now. But also, while we're here, I'm pointing out Curry Renji, this is his new Twitter account. We talked about him. He got mass flagged by a bunch of antis and VTubers recently. So this is his new account. If you're wondering where the VTuber Cringe account went, it's here now. But moving on, here's another account we are familiar with. And this is the artist Kevin, who does a lot of VTuber assets and rigging, and he is very popular. He's been in a couple of our videos because his assets get routinely attacked by antis and certain members of the VTubing scene. Now, what did Kevin do recently to draw the attention of antis once again on Twitter? Well, it actually began with some assets relating to the recent viral song Loli God Requiem. I know a lot of you guys are familiar with that. It's got well over 30 million views on YouTube at this point, but this song has a buzzer featured throughout it. This is something that is not new to anime and anything related to it, but Kevin would take this buzzer and make a VTuber asset out of it that people could pay for and use. Now, the Patreon post where you can actually purchase this thing is still up, but Kevin made a tweet showing off this asset with his Marin Kitagawa VTuber model that he normally shows off assets with, and it would be deleted. Now, this was deleted because a great deal of antis, especially within the VTubing scene, went after Kevin and accused him of all kinds of horrible things. and their call out posts were filled with tons of slander, misinformation about what this VTuber asset was, and also just a lot of shameless cloud chasing. Like you've probably seen in the past couple of weeks on this channel, there's been a lot of mask off moments in the VTubing scene where people are now just going after people for any reason they can find. There's so many call out posts recently, and it's getting actually insane. And the reaction to Kevin's post showing off this new asset based on the Loli God Requiem video attracted hundreds, if not thousands, of angry users attacking him. And of course, he would eventually delete it. And a lot of this wasn't just because he was facing harassment for this. A lot of his clients and people he's worked with were getting harassed basically by association. And I mean, if you wanted to see how crazy people were going, you could see the replies to even just my simple comment here saying unfathomably base. There's people in the replies accusing me of being a word that starts with R because of this whole situation. It is very, very bizarre, and people went way overboard reacting to this. But Kevin did the only sensible thing when you're attacked over a certain thing like a VTuber asset. You come back and you make some light fun of the drama that you're just a part of. And he released this new asset once again with the Mori Calliope VTuber model here, and it is of course, a jab at the whole drama he just went through. It is, instead of a buzzer, it is a grenade where if you pull the pin, a small explosion goes off and it removes a chunk of her clothing from the explosion. And of course, I had another chance to leave the same comment, but there were people once again angry about this new asset he was showing off. And I remember when it first came out, there wasn't much anger about it, but there were already people in the replies anticipating what kind of crazy delusional theories people could come up with to be angry about this particular asset. And we would get exactly what people predicted with posts like this. I just want to highlight this one because it's just that funny. So this pre-debut VTuber said this, saying, LOL, this MF said, oops, offended people that don't approve of R-word jokes and pedophilia. Let me make a grenade asset since war is all over everyone's timeline. That'll get them. Cue the you're so based comments. Well, I already made my you're based comment. What are you talking about? I'm way ahead of you. But nonetheless, of course, more slander in the beginning and mischaracterization of what that buzzer was in the first place and accusing him of pretty terrible things. And no, this asset is totally fine, okay? Are we suspending all weapon-related assets and features across the board because there's a conflict going on in the world right now? Are we going to stop playing video games, stop playing shooters because they're using guns in this conflict? I mean, it's really ridiculous. This guy can't even make a silly grenade explosion asset without making people go crazy. And yeah, it just goes to show you these people will be offended no matter what. And I don't understand how there's so many of these, especially pre-debut VTubers, who are trying to elevate their career by attacking other people. They're seeing a feedback loop, and it's enticing to them because they believe that if they make these call-out posts and they get the sympathy of other VTubers, that's going to launch their career. Well, a lot of people are looking at this and saying, I'm going to stay away from you. And they're also looking at this, especially fans, and they're like, you're annoying. And a lot of fans don't have problems with this. A lot of VTubers might give you a pat on the back for this one in the Western VTubing scene, but it doesn't grow your career. Those are not the people watching your streams. It's fans who largely don't have a problem with this kind of stuff. But moving on, speaking of some pre-debut type activities, I saw this post and I had to talk about it because it definitely touches on something that personally pisses me off too. So we have this post saying, fake ass VTubers do this stuff unnecessarily. It pisses me off. These are but a few examples of masterclass follow baiting. Get this stuff off my timeline. Now, I'm going to explain what this whole follow baiting thing is. It is a very common tool in the VTubing scene. It's a way of basically jebaiting people into following you with the expectation that you're going to follow them back, but you never actually end up following them back. So it makes it so your ratio of who's following you versus who you're following look very, very different. So a small number of people you're following versus a lot of people following you. It's supposed to be a flex. It's very weird to care about these things, but a lot of VTubers do, especially ones who don't actually make any real content and only focus on Twitter. So let's see an example of this in motion here. So I point out this account just to show you kind of the aspect, the ratio of their following versus followers. So they have over 6,000 followers, but 89 following, as in 89 people they are following, which is actually a very small number, by the way. And a lot of people look at this and they go, that's a tight ratio right there that really is some sort of a flex in some people's mind. And to give you an idea, like many people consider me as like an account that doesn't follow a lot of people. I follow around like 450 to 500-ish, but like this is very small. Now, I point out the 89 because that number makes no sense. It instantly proves that they're a liar based on posts like this, where they say, hi, I want more friends to follow, so we're going to do a follow for follow. Just comment below to get you one of these. And it's a notification of them following whoever comments on this post. And as you can see on this post, for example, 128 comments, but they're not even following 100 people. So this is a lie. This is just a scam to get people to follow them. And here's another example saying, can I follow you? Yes, 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 for a comment, retweet, or like. And then they sent the same one only a few days before that. Completely copy and pasted the same tweet made twice in a week. Yeah, obviously you can see the number of interactions on this tweet versus the number of people they're following. That doesn't make any sense. They're obviously lying and follow baiting people. But of course, that wasn't the end of it. So this original poster also said this, saying, you could have been using that money inputting prompts for AI to inputting details for an actual human artist. 6 fingers? Really? I'm not even going to start with what you said under that post, shaking my head. So let's see what they're talking about here. So this is the art that they're showing, quote unquote art, saying, if you see this, we're friends now, talk to me. And you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 digits on that hand. Either that was a very interesting artistic choice or the much more likely option that this was AI generated, which is a very bad idea, especially when you look at this account, for example. It's littered with AI everywhere. There's pretty much no original art. It's just AI, which is a very bad look, okay? A lot of people really don't like that. And underneath that post, because apparently it was getting a lot of attention, they thought they would do a little promo saying only a small percentage of people who view my posts are actually followers. So if you end up liking this post, consider following. It's free. You can always change your mind. Have a good day, which is like, it's like one of those little copy and pasted messages a lot of YouTubers put in their videos. They're like, wait, before we get into today's action, I've noticed that only 8% of people watching my videos are subscribed. Please subscribe today. It's like, it really reeks of desperation. And like, yeah, that's Twitter. Like, you're going to have infinitely more people looking at your tweets than following and interacting. That's just how social media works. But these sorts of follow for follow scams or these call out posts we were looking at earlier, none of these things are going to boost your career. And honestly, when I see people like this, it seems like the only currency that matters to them in their supposed career is getting followers and likes on Twitter, which is a pretty awful currency and also something that does not convert well into other platforms like Twitch and YouTube, for example, where you're going to make actual real content. But nonetheless, that's some VTuber related stuff going on today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please share all of your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys next time.